Hi, Johnny. It's Stephanie and Adrian from the How to Be a Redhead podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So, a question we like to ask all of our redheaded guests: what was it like for you personally growing up with red hair?
Okay, so growing up for me with these locks right here, it was kind of hard. And by kind, I mean it was super hard. I was the only redhead in like elementary school, high school, like all the years I was this sole ginger. And so obviously I was ridiculed pretty severely, plus adding in that I am gay. I was like the perfect target. I also had glasses and braces.
I had
so,
glasses and braces
Same.
too for
So did
like
we.
4 years.
Yeah.
so so you guys probably know.
More
I
metal,
grew up
the
in
better. I used to joke with stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nowadays I have Invisalign, so I'm like, at least they're invisible.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but I grew up in Westchester, New York, so a little bit outside of Manhattan. And you would think it would be like a more inclusive, diverse community, but
Mm.
I, being the only openly gay
Mm.
person in school, like in high school, and the only redhead, was really hard. Um, like really, really hard. I can't even sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I started like as I was getting older, I would start wearing like baseball caps to school, and then my teachers would
Oh
make a
my
big thing of
gosh.
it. Like, you can't wear a hat in school, but it was a way for me to sort of mask and sort of like fit in and try to take the target off of my back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really hard. I also, in my family, I'm the only redhead. So,
Oh.
my mom gave birth to me and I literally had red hair when I was born, and she was like,
Where did you come
what is
from?
it? Yeah. And the doctors were like, oh, it'll fall out, like it'll change color. He's not going to stay a redhead. And here I am today, still very much a redhead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I know it's really hard. I feel like all redheads have the same story in terms of it being hard growing up. When did it get better for you? When do you feel like you came into your own?
um, I would like to say college, but in college I still dealt with it. Honestly, to this day, I still deal with it,
Really?
especially being like very public on social media. Yeah. So a big thing, I'm not sure if you guys get compared to like celebrities or something,
Yeah.
like redheaded celebrities, but it's always like the reference point is like, oh, he's a gay Ed Sheeran. I literally got that comment the other day, and I'm like, okay, if I had brown hair, who
Right.
would I
Like
be?
you.
Because we don't do this to like people with different color
I
hairs, right?
know.
So brunettes don't get compared to celebrities, blondes, unless you literally look like that person. But I'm like, I don't see myself as looking like Ed Sheeran. So,
No,
and no offense to Ed
nothing.
Yeah.
Sheeran, but I'm like, there's no way I look like him besides my hair. So
Right.
that's something I still deal with online. People call me Ginger all the time, and like I kind of feel like that's an empowering word to be called now. So I'm like, yeah, I
I
am.
am
I'm
ginger.
a
Yeah.
ginger,
Right.
and like there's literally zero issue with that. I also have blue eyes, so I'm like I'm pretty rare.
Oh, I was just gonna rarest combination in the world, Johnny.
Yeah,
So
so
yes, so you're rare.
sometimes I like do my little clap backs when I'm feeling
Yeah.
sassy, which is all the time. So I'll be like, and so what? I have red hair and I have blue eyes. Why don't you Google it? Like,
It's so,
Yeah, and
yeah.
sometimes with the comments on social, you do have to be sassy. I feel like just throw it back in their face because they're just commenting because they're
yeah,
probably insecure with themselves.
I
yeah.
actually, we posted our Shark Tank pitch, and I was reading through all the comments, which sometimes I'm like, why do I even do this? But I'm reading through it, and someone was like, "How does it feel to have no soul?" Like people kept saying that, and I was like, "Really fabulous!" Like all in caps with like dancing emojis. Because what am I supposed to say to that? Like, oh, it
Yeah.
feels awful. Like, no, I feel great. I really wanted to say freaking fabulous.
Yeah. So I actually get that comment too. Like that's like the oldest, joke in
Oh
the
my
book about
gosh.
like, oh,
Yeah.
that's soulless. And I'm like, you're saying that to me, so I think you're the one who's soulless because that's really mean to say that. So that's usually my clapback is like, you should check your own soul if you have one because you're judging me on my hair, literally my hair.
I can't
Yeah,
believe, and
right.
I know it's humankind, but I can't believe people spend time out of their day to make a mean comment on social media. That just shows
I
me when I read a bad comment, I'm like, oh, they must be going through something or something's not going on in their life really that
Or they
great.
need to get a hobby because they have so much time on their hands,
yeah, exactly.
right?
And, like, I don't know about Instagram, but TikTok, I'm on TikTok too, so they filter the mean to the bottom. So usually I'll scroll
Oh, I
until
didn't
I'm
know
like,
that.
okay, we're getting into the danger zone, so we're gonna let that be because we're having a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
right,
it's hard.
right.
It's hard to like be so public, like you guys know too.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think a lot of people think about like the vulnerability of being a redhead on the internet too, like
Mhm.
because there is still a stigma towards people with ginger hair, like
Yeah.
red hair of all different shades and colors, and it's like I will never understand it. um and I still carry that like trauma and insecurity with me into my real life sometimes, like when I'm out and about, I'll like put a hat on, and because I've been like ridiculed in public too, like ginger, like people calling me like weird things, and it's like always like the sports bros who like
Right.
point it out, and I'm like, it's hair, like it's literally hair, but okay.
I know, I know. I was hoping that Prince Harry was going to make it easier for redhead guys, and because there's such a double standard with redhead women and redhead men. There just is, and I hate that. And so I was hoping, like when Prince Harry, got really popular, I was like, oh my god, maybe he's going to make it so much easier. And I think in some ways he has, but there just aren't enough in the public eye to make it so that you're not compared to Ed Sheeran, that you're compared to like someone else, you know?
Yeah. I was walking down the street with my partner Mitchell. We were walking our dogs, and this man pulled over in his car to stop me to say that I look like the guy from Modern Family. And I was like,
Jesse Tyler Ferguson?
who? And then because I've never seen it. So I'm like, excuse me? And he was like, you're that guy, are you not? And I was like, who? And he's like, your hair. Like you look just like him. And I'm on the side of the road with my dogs. And I'm like, sir, that's not me. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't
but I
know
went
who you're
home and
talking
spoke to
about.
him, and I was like, this guy is so
Just
much older
because
than
you
me.
have red hair.
Yeah. And my partner was like, what is going on? I'm like, you don't understand. Like this is a whole thing this has always happened to me. Like when I was even younger, I'd be like at Forever 21 buying a shirt or something, right? And like the cashier, I remember one time was like, you look like Sam Smith. Because back then he sort of had like the ginger going on, like the beard.
Yeah, in the
Yes.
beard. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay. Anyway, can you just check the shirt out? I'm trying to hit the road.
Yeah, get out of here. Right, right. I know. It's like they always just I think people who give say comments like that, like the comment that you got on on the street with your dog, it's like they just see a redhead and they're like think of the first person that they know who has red hair who's famous and they're like, "You're him or you're her or that redhead." And it's like,
It's
"No, I'm actually not."
Yeah, I'm curious. Did you guys ever get compared to like I think of like Lindsay Lohan, who's like gorgeous, long red hair. Did you guys ever get that comparison?
The funny
No.
Lindsay
Not
Lohan
me.
story that I don't know if Stephanie and I have just like never talked about some of like the embarrassing things of our childhood probably, but I feel like this is an embarrassing thing about Lindsay Lohan. So I loved her because I was born in 87. So like when I was in high school in like 2000 what 1 to 5 2005, she was like at the prime. Mean Girls came out I think in 2004, so it was like a big deal, to have her representing redheads, but she had the brown eyebrows, which is like a
Yeah.
game changer for redheads because I have
Yes.
like such fair eyebrows.
Yes.
So I would dye my eyebrows to like be like Lindsay Lohan, like a dark brown, and it was like way too brown. And sometimes I see other redheads doing it on social media and I know what they're going through because it's like you want it to be tinted, but sometimes you just go too dark. And that was me. I went like way too dark. And I really looked up to her. And I think Stephanie even looked up to her back then too with her freckles, but then she wanted to get rid of her freckles. But I have to say, now they say it's like the low Renaissance where people are really loving that she's like back. Her red hair is more vibrant than ever.
Yeah.
And I think she's embracing her freckles. So it's like a full
Yeah, she
circle for
is.
her.
Yeah.
And I see people like girls on TikTok all the time like getting tattooed freckles or like putting in freckles with makeup and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, so maybe we're moving towards, redheads being the thing that's like hot and trendy.
When it comes to growing up, during
Hmm.
this time that you were having a hard time being a redhead, when did you get into interior design? Was it an outlet? Was it a creative outlet that you really enjoy? Like, how did it all happen?
Yeah, so I've always been like a shopper, right? I've never had money, but I've always been a shopper. So I would go window shop a lot. My store was always like home goods
Mhm.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
I went through like the me trying to like do fashion and like live that lifestyle. But again, being a guy, I feel like I was shopping the women's department. I would get ridiculed for it. I'd be embarrassed to check out at the store. And so I was like, you know what? Another way I can express myself is through my love for like visual, like interior design and decorating. And so I've lived many places. I lived in California, Colorado. I spent time down south in South Carolina. So like I've tried my hand at a lot of different styles,
Mhm.
but how I would sort of like cope with just wanting to self-express in some way, um, I think that's how I found interior design and decorating in general,
Mm.
Mm.
because it's something that could be done behind closed doors that I didn't have to share with the world. You know, like when I would wear a pink shirt, I would present to the world that way, and I would get negative feedback. So at home was very like a safe space for me to design, like use the colors I wanted to use. And so I have a background in like child therapy. So I worked with kids with autism
Oh,
before I started my social media journey.
Wow,
Then
that's
the pandemic
awesome.
hit. Yeah, so I did that for many years. And then the pandemic hit. Like literally, we bought our house, and then I lost my job because insurance was just not paying out for services for therapy. Um,
wow.
and so I was like, you know what? For the first time ever, I'm gonna try my hand at like the creative side of my brain and see if I can do this. Like, I'm just gonna go for it and try it out. And so I made my page, which is Vincent Chopodi on Instagram.
Mhm.
I made my Instagram first, and then I started like estate sale hunting and stuff like that. And I really wanted my house to look like it was fresh out of the 80s because, of course, they use the funnest colors like pink, which is my favorite color.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's sort of how I found it. But again, I was still very reserved about what if my family comes over and sees like I have a pink couch? Like, oh no. So I started like with a more boho aesthetic when I bought this house, and then I was like, you know what? It's my house. Like I had like a realization, and my partner was so helpful. He was like, "It's our house. Like do what you want," because he doesn't care. He's like, "Just do what you want." So I was like, "Oh, well, you gave me the green light, so don't yell at me when these walls are furry." And so I did what I wanted, and for the first time ever, like I put it online and it just grew from there. I even got like on the Kelly Clarkson show because of it,
I
which was
I saw.
crazy.
I
Saw,
saw.
Oh,
I
congrats.
saw.
so yeah, and I wasn't like my background is in therapy for children, so I'm like I didn't have any real like you know on paper design experience or decorating experience. I just like always go based off of my intuition and my instinct with what looks good and like what draws my eye. And so many people have found me and related to it. And like now I do like consulting and like helping other people get things. And it's like a whole thing.
That is
And I'm
so
just like,
cool.
it's my proudest like moment in my ever changing career path because it's finally me like being my own boss and doing what I want to do and not being afraid. Of course, I still get like a lot of backlash online. Like a lot of people hate my house or my style, but I'm like, you know what? That's your business. That's not mine.
Yeah, that's your problem. This is
Yeah,
my house,
yeah.
and I'm going to design it and decorate it the way I want. When did you choose, when you started to convert your home, when did you choose to go on social and share? Because you said that when family would come over, you were a little bit embarrassed,
Yes.
with like a pink couch, for example. But and when did you decide doors open, social, people I don't know, world here is
Right.
my
Because this
home,
is how people
knowing.
really know about you. Like, this is how we know about you because of this house.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So when did you kind of, because you have to be vulnerable, you have to break down who, that comfort to open your house up to strangers essentially on social. So when did you decide to do that?
So I bought the house. I lost my job. This was in the matter of a few months. And when I lost my job, I was desperately trying to find a new job. And I was like, okay, I have to do something because it's my first ever mortgage. And I was like, oh no, I spent like all my money on a down payment. So I need to have income. um, so I started estate sale hunting and I was like looking for all this cool furniture. And I actually started my journey with resale, with vintage resale. So
Cool.
Okay.
that's sort of the push I had to share on social. My home was I would
Okay.
like, stage these items in my house because I'm like,
Oh,
I don't want to like throw a piece of furniture like on the sidewalk and try to get like $5,000 for it, you know? So I
yeah.
would like I started really redoing my house to make this furniture sellable and marketable and look beautiful. And I was like, okay, a lot of people don't have the vision for like, okay, I like this piece of furniture, but how will I style it? Like, how will it look good? Because of a lot of the things I was buying to resell were so like extravagant and like kind of gaudy and fun. So I was like, okay, I need to like make this work to make it marketable. And so that's why I started like really going like all in on the house because it was very much a business. My first year on Instagram, I made more than I ever made as a therapist, just buying and selling furniture.
Cool.
Love
Yeah. That's
it.
awesome.
Love that.
Congrats.
So yeah, thank you. That was sort of why I like started sharing because it was out of a necessity in my head. I'm like, okay, I need to make money and I want to work for myself, even just for a few months to see if I can do this. And I started doing it and I did like every aspect. I made the page, I did all the staging, I dragged all the furniture here, I delivered all the furniture. Um, I had like some celebrity clients who found me somehow on social media, and then I was shipping to LA, meeting truck
Wow.
drivers in the middle of the night outside my home. The neighbors loved it.
Sketchy.
I was like calling different truck driver company things to be like, okay, so I have a sofa that needs to go to Los Angeles. And some of these men were like, I can only, like, I'm coming through your town at like 2 in the morning. So I guess pull up in the 18 wheeler.
Oh my God. Your neighbors, yeah, were wondering what in the world are you doing?
And I live in Connecticut in a quiet little like side street neighborhood. And so these big truck drivers would come up and I'm like, I am so sorry. But anyway, so that's why I started. And then I did the resale thing for like 2 years and I was making such good money. But then I was like, okay, I'm tired of being on the road for 12 hours a day, going to buy all this furniture like in Long Island and Rhode Island and
We're from Rhode Island.
Woo, reppin'.
you are?
Yeah, we're from
Yeah, we're from
Providence.
Providence.
Oh my god, are you still there?
No.
No, I know,
Okay.
I know. We're not. We're in North Carolina now, but used to live in New
Nice.
York City, and then we have a bunch of family and friends in Connecticut, and we still have
Really?
family in Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Our husbands are from New York, so we're always up there. Yeah, my
Oh
mother-in-law
my
just moved
god.
from Connecticut. So yeah, and some of our best friends live in Connecticut now. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
everyone
Where
ended
in
up there.
Connecticut are you?
I'm in Danbury.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
Adrian.
I love their whole
Yeah.
they have a good Trader Joe's.
I- I'm always at that Trader
Yeah.
Joe's.
I might see you. I
That's
pop in
so
there to get
funny.
things from my mother-in-law.
Oh my gosh, if you're ever in the area, stop by my
I
house.
will. I
That will
really
I know
will.
totally.
that is a question. Do you ever get followers that are like, "I'm going to be near you. Can I come see your house?" And do
Oh
you
yeah.
allow it, or is that kind of
Um,
your personal space?
so here's the thing. um, I got on News 12 Connecticut, so they came. Well, I got on twice, but one of the times they showed the outside of my house. So now I have people who drive by beeping and waving. And so like in the morning, sometimes I'll be taking the trash to the bins at the bottom of the driveway and I'm looking like trash myself. I should probably just jump into the bin. Uh, but these people are driving by and they're like slowing down and like saying, and I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? So I did
Oh.
cameras installed, but it's
You
like,
gotta put cameras in? Oh, I don't
yeah,
blame you for that. Wow.
right, because people drive by, and a lot of my stuff also is very like it's vintage stuff, so a lot of it's expensive, and like when I show it online, people know that, so I'm always just wary of like, okay, like don't come to my house please because now people know where I live. So yeah, but I do get a lot of followers who are like, "Can I come and do a tour of your house? Can I come hang out at your house? Can we be besties?" And I'm super nice, so I'm always like, "Sure, that's fine." And my partner's like, "You need to don't answer every
Set
single
boundaries, he's
message.
saying,
These
yeah.
people are actually about to book a flight." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, okay,
Oh my
we can be friends from
gosh.
afar." So yeah, I get a lot of that though because people are just like, you know, I through this whole journey, I've gotten a lot of feedback about like I want to make my house look like this, and I'm like, okay, start with one
Hmm.
wall. Like, give yourself the kindness of letting yourself choose one color and do one wall in it. Like, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
a hot pink, a hot green, whatever, like just go for it. Give yourself, even if it's a corner of your home, you know. And so, like, I feel like that's a great place to start because everyone always asks me like, how do you just like make your home look like this and have people not judge you like friends or your partner or your family? And I'm like, well, if they do judge me, it's my home. They don't really need to stay. They don't need to come over, you know?
So
Yeah,
walk me
yeah.
through or walk us through. So when you wake up in the morning, okay, I always
Mhm.
feel like design does something for that specific person. And for me, what the way my house is, it gives me a lot of peace. Like I want to say, like when I see it, it's aesthetically pleasing to me. I'm like, oh, like when I see it in the morning, it gives me like pleasure, like in my brain, right? So I'm always like trying to do certain things to make it even better. So, what I was wondering how when you wake up in the morning and you walk into your environment, like out of your bedroom and all that stuff, what does it do for you? How does it make you feel when you're walking around your house?
So our bedroom is the room behind me, but right next to me, I sleep on my side, so I wake up and there's a giant Miss Piggy picture, and she's wearing a sequin dress. And so immediately I'm like, rise and shine. Hello, Miss Piggy. Good morning. Uh,
I love that.
yeah. So I've dealt with like depression, anxiety during my life, extreme anxiety, actually. So I really, part of my journey was to make this house like a safe space and like
Yeah.
100% just like me and like my escape from the rest of the world because the world can be very ugly and cruel.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I wake up and I'm like, every day I love being surrounded by color. And so immediately I'm like, I can't be in a bad mood. I'm like in this fun house. Literally, I call it my fun house. I'm like, there's faux fur all over the walls. There's like leopard print and like all shag carpeting. So I'm like, it really has helped me like escape from everything else that goes on. As soon as
Hmm.
I come home, it's just like a hug for real.
Yeah, it
Um,
makes you happy. And I
yeah,
think that's why what people have to seek when they are, whether it's decorating or beauty related, anything relating in your day to day, but figuring out what makes you happy.
yeah. And one of the biggest things is people always say to me like, "Oh, good luck trying to sell your house one day, like the resale value, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, so many people design and curate their home around one day I'm going to sell this home, and I think that's a kind of like a toxic way to think. It's like,
Mm,
okay, I could sell my home tomorrow, or I could sell my home in 10 years, or I can live here forever,
Mm-hmm.
and own this property forever. So might as well live in the moment, decorate how
yes.
I want. It's just like hair, you can change it. Like you can take things down, you can switch out the style. I'm constantly changing my style around. And
Hmm.
so I just let go of that fear, and it has really truly helped with my mental health, my well-being. I've really learned how to like manipulate my environment to just like accommodate me and not
Hmm.
anyone else. Because I do have friends and family who come over and they're like, "This is a lot," and I'm like, "For you, it's a lot,
But
and
for
For
that's
me,
you.
it's not. So this is all,
fine."
you're not living here.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
I
And so
love that. And that's such a good perspective to have and such a good message, I think, to listeners that I think you can, I think you can, um, put that into any aspect in your life,
mhm,
right? Like Adrian and I were just talking,
Mm-hmm.
like someone's job, it may not be what you would ever do, but if they're happy doing that or where they're living or their style or whatever the case may be in someone else's life, like if they're really happy, then to each their own.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, I love
I wanted to break a myth, stuff, thinking about like what other people think. I feel like he's the perfect person. So, two colors that people say redheads can't wear, and that's why we're wearing it today, and we wanted to have you on too. redheads can't wear pink and redheads can't wear red. And I just can't. Those were my two favorite colors to wear with
I
my
know,
red
like, who
hair.
started that? Who started saying
I don't
that?
know.
Someone who is a hater.
Yeah.
Someone who wants us to be sad and wear only beige.
I know,
Um,
beige and black, which we
like,
love black,
Love a
but
dark
I look
beige too.
great with
But
red hair.
I just love
color,
red
love
hair. I
color.
love red hair specifically with those colors. Like I feel
Yeah.
like you walking around your house to me is so aesthetically pleasing. To think you with red hair is walking around in all pink is just so awesome to me.
I love that.
I
I
just feel
know.
like it's such a statement that redheads can wear pink.
Yes, and I 100% agree. I mean, look at both of you. You look stunning, and you're wearing pink and red.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love wearing both of those colors. I feel like red looks really good against our complexions,
Me
you know,
too.
and our hair. I think it's stunning. I think it's show stopping. And so I'm like, who said this? Okay, so I even wear like green. I have like a whole green outfit, and then I call myself, I'm like, okay, everyone's gonna call me Peter Pan, but guess what? I like this color. And
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. Like, so
Yeah.
there should be no limitations to, you know, what we're told or what, you know, society tells us looks good on us or not, or like what looks flattering on, you know, a paler complexion. I'm like, anything can look good if you feel good in it. So
Right. Exactly. And I think too, maybe redheads feel that, oh my gosh, my hair is so bright and I'm already standing out. And maybe it's a redhead who's having a hard time standing out.
Mm,
And then you have a bright color
yeah,
or a bright lip, and it's like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm
yeah.
just going to wear like a beige, for example. So maybe that could be the case for some redheads. But yeah, we love color. But I will say, growing up, I never really liked color. I was always not like, I didn't start wearing a lip until I was like towards the end of college when I moved to New York City, especially. I'll never forget, we met a redhead back in when we moved to New York City, Adrian and I, and she was a redhead and she wore Lady Danger MAC, which is like a orange red lip. And I'll never forget, like, I feel like she opened my eyes to, oh my gosh, this is what a redhead can wear, like a
yeah,
bright lip. And it's actually one of my favorite colors to wear, especially in the summertime, because it looks so good if you are a fair skinned redhead with freckles. So but I remember it took so long. Like, that wasn't until I was 2021 to really embrace color.
yeah. Do you guys have redheaded parents?
Our dad had
Our
like dark
dad.
auburn hair. See my accent. I want to say auburn. He had dark auburn hair,
Mhm.
but he had dark auburn hair. My parents are actually living with my husband and I now, so I'm somehow living in North Carolina, but like getting more of a Mass accent like as the days go on. So I just had to catch myself. But he has auburn hair, had auburn hair, and then both of our grandmothers had red hair. So it was just always celebrated in our family, even though so many people had dark hair because we're Italian, but like so many people in our family had dark hair. We just, we always loved I loved Stephanie and I have different stories. I loved my red hair from the start. She
Mhm.
had a hard time embracing it, but I had a hard time embracing my fair skin. I like
Yeah.
just couldn't
Yeah,
accept it. I couldn't accept the fair skin. And now I could care less. I'm just like, this is my skin. And I really find it beautiful. Whereas I
yeah,
wish my younger self found it to be beautiful because
yeah,
it's such a journey, no matter like all your different things that's hard, that's like really, really hard. It's, yeah. Sometimes when people say they don't like their red hair, I'm like, I understand that. But I had a hard time embracing my fair skin and Steph with her freckles. It's
yeah.
not easy. Redheads, have you heard?
We aired on ABC's Shark Tank, episode 14, season 15. We are busy developing products and continuing to grow this incredible redhead lifestyle brand.
Check out our mascara and eyebrow products in red hot shades, hair care merch, lifestyle items, and so much more. Redheads, we can now rejoice.
Finally, there are products for us.
Use code podcast to get 15% off your next purchase. Shop at shop.howtobearedhead.com.
That's like the thing too, is like, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I would go to the beach because I love to swim, I would be like, I'm standing out. Like I
Yeah.
hated it. So I'm like, I'm like shining in the sun right now, you know?
Yes,
And I
I
would
do
Mhm.
know.
be so embarrassed because I'm
Yeah.
like, you hear in society, everyone wants to be tan. Everyone goes spray tanning. Everyone is, the Jersey Shore and like all this stuff. And I was always like, I can't even like sit poolside and feel comfortable because of my pale complexion. Um, so yeah, I know that struggle. I've also had that struggle with like, I'm too pale because all we hear about is like people who want to be tan. And I'm like, should I want to be tan? Like,
Yeah,
really?
right,
You know?
right. And then you question yourself, like I love my skin, but should I, exactly what you said, should I want to be tan, or should I try, sometimes every now and then, once or twice a year I'll dabble in sunless tanner, but for the most part I'm just like, I'm pale. I'm just gonna own it and just try not to get sunburned when I go outside for a few minutes. That's like my main thing.
Oh my gosh, when I was younger, the dermatologist told my mom, he was like, he can't really sit next to a window because he's so pale that he will get sunburned like through the window. So and wear like sunscreen inside, or and even when we were in the car, like I'd wear sunscreen. And I was
Yeah,
She's a
I
good
mean, it's so
mom.
it
That's really good.
yeah.
yeah.
That's really, really
And
nice. I wanted to dig into the breakfast cereal rugs.
Okay.
Okay, because I love them. And I know it was a collaboration
mhm.
with Karen Joy, and it just launched on March 9th. And then
Yeah.
there was some TikTok drama about the rug. So walk us through the creative process for it. And then, we were talking about the trolls on social media. So tell us everything about it.
So we met through TikTok. We have a very similar style. So, we just became mutuals on there. And then we formed a very fast friendship. This was all like last summer. Um, and so separately, we both got approached by this company called Tough the World. They're out of Philadelphia. And we had no idea like each other have gotten the same, offer to do a collab with this rug company. So we were just chatting one day, and it just happened to come up, and I was like, "Wait, are you designing a rug for them too?" And she was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Oh my gosh, we have to get on a Zoom call right now and pitch this idea to do this together." And she's like,
Wow,
"Okay."
cool.
She was like, "Let's do it." So we got on a call with the company, and basically we said, we would love to design like our own, but first we would love to design one together, because like through our both of our journeys on TikTok and on Instagram, people love that we are friends. I think
Mhm.
people love that camaraderie with like creators, like being friends and being nice to
Yes.
each other.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and no drama sort of thing, which I love because I'm like, I would love to work with everyone. So they were like, great, let's do this idea. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? They gave us like full control, like creatively, over what we wanted to do. And they specialize in food shaped rugs because that's a big trend in interior right now, is food decor, strawberry decor, like all this fun stuff, like super maximalism, super like out there and creative. So Karin is known for like this DIY she's done on TikTok where she made cereal bowls for her wall. She like poured cereal in bowls, resined over them so it's like hardened, put a spoon in it, and it's like she has like a mural of them
Wow.
That's
in her
awesome.
That's
kitchen.
awesome.
Yeah, and so I was like, you know what? We're both so colorful and extra. Our favorite color is both pink. Why don't we do a cereal rug? And she was like, oh my gosh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. And so we designed it. We drew like the design. This was all over like Zoom, or FaceTime, her and I. And then we submitted it. They flew her to Philly and they got us a room down there for a few days, and we went to their warehouse factory. We started making it with them. We were like choosing the colors. It was so fun.
That's
So
awesome.
fun. And this was over a 6-month period. So it was like a
Last
lot of
year.
work behind the scenes, getting it all right. I flew to Texas to see her and do a photo shoot. And so we launched it. And like it was so exciting to launch because this is my first ever product. And
Okay.
like just thinking back, I'm like, I used to be a therapist. How am I now designing rugs a few years later? Like, what am I?
Yeah,
Okay.
like life is so crazy, but it's also so
Yeah,
awesome.
the
Yeah,
path.
Mhm.
really. I was sitting there with her and I'm just like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, this is like, you can truly reinvent at any point in your life.
Hmm.
And like that is so true. Like I am living this right now. Like I've done so
Mm-hmm.
many different things. So yeah, they launched, and then because we're both in the DIY like space, like I do a lot of DIY home decor, and so does she. So I think people are just a little surprised with the pricing,
Mm.
which, you know, people will hate or attack things they don't understand. And
Yeah.
so like there's so much money invested into this project, you know, like with any product you're trying to make,
Mm-hmm.
you like it's only a smart business person wants to make a profit back, right?
Yeah.
And so it's impossible to sell, and this I'm still learning, like in business and all this stuff. It's impossible to sell something for really cheap unless there's, you know, something going on behind the scenes that shouldn't be going on, you
Yeah.
know, or unless you're not trying to make money, which is not smart,
Yeah.
you know, financially, or, you know, as an investment at all. And it was just important to like for me to have something that was like ethically made and with the best materials. And, you know, people don't know this, but like we were like offering payment options and like payment plans and paying for shipping ourselves, stuff like that. So it happened, like we took the feedback, and I'm like, okay, you know what, they're still selling. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
people
Right.
complaining the loudest are the people who were never going to buy
Yeah.
anyway.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
And people like, there's a Taylor, I'm not even a big Swiftie, but there's a Taylor quote that's like, people throw rocks at things that shine. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just so true. And I'm learning that like I could be making a cereal bowl rug, which is like the proudest moment thus far of my journey, like a product. Or I could be painting a wall pink. I'm still going to get backlash
No matter
from
what.
people who simply don't matter. Like the people who are mean to me are not even my followers. So it's like, it doesn't matter, you know? And it's like, we're in society now where like a huge celebrity, like, you know, the Kardashians can release a rug for 5 grand and people would go broke trying to buy it, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like, I think the whole stigma with influencers is that like it's an easy job, or, you know, it's not real work, but it's very much like every single day trying to market yourself, build your
A little bit
platform.
of grinding. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm doing this all the time, like all day
Mm-hmm.
every day. And so like I'm always one to advocate for like influencing, or if you want to call it, you know, content creating is very hard. And a lot of the time, like I'm TikTok and Instagram, they're not really paying, you know,
Right.
unless you get like a lot of traction, a lot of views, like all the time. So you have to sort of like get money how you can, and making a product, you know, that's gonna last and that's ethically made and sourced was just important for me. And so I'm still learning, but I'm so happy with the final product that we created. It's beautiful. It's like this thick.
It's
I'm like, this thing
gorgeous.
is amazing.
It's really
Thank you.
gorgeous.
And it took 6 months to do. So
You should be proud of it, you know,
Yeah.
and I think, you know, people always have comments to make to Stephanie and I too. And I think you have to just keep going, and the sales will tell you where to keep going. So just keep doing that. I was wondering when as I was listening to you and, you know, your journey with, you know, all of like everything from how you designed your house to now with this, you know, rug coming out, which is so exciting. Do you feel like being a redhead prepared you for just how to take insults, or how to take, you know, in some ways people are just bullying online all day? Do you feel like you have like a tougher shell because of being a redhead?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, literally, I can think back to in high school. I don't know if or if schools still have like the huge like floor to ceiling whiteboards, but in school, the like this one bully of mine would always draw me on the board with red hair and like put acne all over me and make me
Oh
like
my
super like
gosh.
monstrous looking. And the
Oh,
teachers would just allow this. I like, and I think back to this day as a 31-year-old, and I'm like, that was so problematic that no teacher or person of authority ever stepped in
Did anything?
for
Oh
me.
my God.
where
And
is
that
that bully
bully
now? Where is he or
probably
she?
has red hair.
Oh yeah,
Probably dyed their hair red.
right.
Yeah.
I have
Probably
no
was trying to be a
idea.
redhead.
It's actually funny that you bring this question up, because I think it has prepared me. I've like always been under like the line of fire because of just me existing as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could do nothing wrong and someone will still have an issue with my sexuality, my hair color, my style, my house. And at some point it's just like I throw in the towel. Like
I
I'm just
know.
going to do what I'm going to do and I'm
Yeah.
happy with myself and it has given me like a way thicker skin. Even when I got on the Kelly show last year, I got like a lot of backlash like online, like, oh my God, I can't believe a man lives here or a man or, and just making fun of me. And in that moment, I literally was like laughing to myself and I'm like, you know what? But I was just on the Kelly show. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you are sitting at your home somewhere, who knows where,
Yeah.
watching me, but I am on your television.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
like you're watching me. So,
right.
yeah, I
And
know. And
so,
and like who says what's normal? Like, right? Like who created that stigma on like, okay, what's normal? Kind of like what we said on like who said redheads can't wear certain colors. But I I Adrian and I, yeah, we both like have talked about this and like who cares what people like as long as you're happy like
Mm-hmm.
when people make a rude comment about someone's life or design whatever it may be it's just like you're so right like you're watching me on TV
yeah,
so in your face
yeah,
and maybe that bully hopefully that bully did see you on the Kelly show
yeah,
because you're doing big things and who knows what they're doing.
yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I still like I'll get messages from people I used to know, who were mean to me and be like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like I saw
Yeah.
you
Trying to
on."
be friends
People
Yeah,
came out of
like
the woodwork after we were on Shark
yeah.
Tank. They
Shark
came
Tank
Oh,
out of nowhere. People we haven't talked to in 20 plus years were like,
family too that like we
yeah,
don't
like
even
they
talk
would they were
to.
leaving us voice notes, love you. I'm like, I don't even know you.
Yeah, like, oh my God, my and then like tagging us and we're not even friends with them on Facebook. I don't know how they could or like trying to tag
Yeah.
us.
yeah,
And yeah, it's just like what? Like stuff before Shark Tank, maybe it's family stuff or business like you weren't there, but yet like here you are cuz
They're
yeah, it's
not your
crazy
true
how
people. Those are not your true people. The true people
no,
are
no,
there
yeah,
no.
when you were
Through
just
ups
renovating
and
your house and
downs.
had this idea. Those people, like, hold on to those people because when you had lost your job and you were in that tough spot for a minute, those are the people who are your core people who were there for you, cheering you on, not now when you're on the Kelly show. You know what I mean?
right.
Like they can
Mhm.
be maybe nice people from afar, but yeah, it's so weird how people do that. I don't like it. I don't like it. But
It's
I think
crazy how like the brain, yeah, and then they actually think like, oh, I haven't talked to them in X amount of years, or we had this past, but let me reach out to them and see, and then they actually think that like something is gonna happen.
I know.
Right? And they're tagging you because like that's their claim to fame. Like I know, like people want to
Yes,
make their
Exactly.
success about them. Like that's something that I can't stand. Is like, oh, so all of a sudden now we're friends, or you know me now because I'm doing well.
yeah,
Yeah.
You
like
know?
know me, but not really know me.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we had about like 30 more questions to ask you,
Oh no.
but I don't even care because I love everything that we discussed. You are so
I think we need to.
awesome.
I think we just need to ask about red. Okay, so beard or
I
like just
know.
grooming. Really, I just want to touch upon that because it's a
Guys, yeah.
topic. Yeah, like do you have any certain ways that you take care of your beard or do you shave it off and then it grows
I
back
know
or is it
skin
No.
something
sensitivity, it's like such a thing.
yeah
Okay.
like
I have to use this one cleanser because I do a whole skin routine because I've had acne like my whole life, like really bad. So it took me so long to figure it out. So on top of like not only sensitive skin, but it was like skin that was constantly breaking out every
Mm.
day. And so it took so many years, which also as a guy, like doing
yeah
skincare shopping at Sephora is really embarrassing and it shouldn't be,
it
but
should I
like
was just going to say it shouldn't be
right,
no
but like and Ulta, like I go to Ulta still to get things, and I'm always like the only guy in there who's not with like their girlfriend. Obviously, I don't have a girlfriend, so um, I do not shave my beard off because it takes forever to grow back. I'm like, I need this to grow faster, and it never like fills in completely. That's another thing. So I just like trim it and like try to keep it like maintained that way. I do never like I never ever like shave it off completely. Um as like for okay, so for brows and for lashes, I'm coming on here because I need your help.
Oh, we want to help. We love
um
you.
I use this thing that I just found at Target in the men's section actually called like the Wow Brow by Elf or something.
Okay.
And it was literally like $1. So I picked it up and I was like, what is this? And it's brown. So I'm like, I would love to actually get my colors right here. Um, because I think this is why you guys are like killing it, is because there was no market for
Redheads.
redheads. And still, like I used to wear makeup like 10 years ago. Like I would do foundation, like everything, because I had like a lot of acne like going on and I just wanted to again like blend in.
Right, right.
So but there was never options and there was never anything that I could get to like look natural on my complexion. And then like I have long lashes, but you can't see them because they're like so ginger, like light blonde.
I know. Us too.
No idea how to make it
Well, do you want to
look.
keep it? You want to keep you want to keep them blonde, or you want to apply something?
I would love to like apply something to be able to like see them, you
You
know?
would? Okay, so you would wear a
It
mascara.
would be
I
so
love
fun.
that.
And I need something for my brows because the color I'm using is brown.
Well,
And
we're gonna send you a kit. We're
Send
gonna
you,
send you a whole
yes.
kit of brow, and I think you're gonna love. If I could guess, you're gonna love our auburn or chestnut shades of mascara because like they're like a deep, really pretty chestnut color red,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like you're
I
gonna
would
love the color. But then we'll give you browns, and you can do black too, like whatever you want. But we'll send you our whole kit, and I think that. I'd love to see how you feel. I feel like the brow you're going to love because it's so natural looking, but it gives you like that little definition. And I think it's
yes,
going to look
that's
really nice on you.
that's like my dream is to like have a face that doesn't look like I have the biggest forehead because I don't have brows, you know? So I'm like, I just need to like balance this out and like be cute.
But you're perfect. You're perfect just the
You
way you
are
are, though.
perfect.
But I was watching your TikToks, like your reels actually, and I was seeing all the redheads like with the different brow stuff they were doing, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even realize that I was using like the completely wrong thing because again, going to the store, and especially in the men's department, I was shocked that there was brow gel there to begin with, but it was like one little thing on the
Right,
shelf, and I'm
right. That's the wrong
like, I
shade.
guess I'm gonna go for brunette brows. Because
Yes,
that's
well,
what's
we will
available.
send you a package ASAP.
You guys are so sweet. Thank you.
And Johnny, thank you for coming on the How to Be a Redhead podcast because we love talking to you. And like I said, I don't even care that we didn't go through all our questions because I feel like everything we talked about was just so perfect.
Oh, I really appreciate you guys having me, all three of you, like for real. This was super fun.